Okay, pardon my setup, but I've done a few rows in the knit stitch, every row knit stitch. So this whole thing, when you do every row knit stitch, is called garter stitch. And now I will show you how to cast off or bind off. There's multiple ways to do it. This is the easiest. This is what I do for pretty much everything. So you've knit enough rows where you're like, okay, my scarf is done. It's how long I want it to be. Now I want to finish it. So like every other row, you are going to, I'm a little shaky because I'm drinking my morning coffee. You're going to start your row off like normal. Knit. So you just knit 2. And you have 2 on your right needle. This is the rest of your work. Let me get a little better grip. 2 on your right needle. So, with the help of your left needle, you want to take this first stitch. Let me get in there. Take it on your left needle. Pull it a little bigger, and then it can help to like pivot your work so you can see it. And we are going to take this second stitch, and I'm going to hold on to this first stitch that's hanging out on my left needle, as well as my right needle. And we are going to push this second stitch through the first one, and then slide it off. So we have 1. I'm going to do it a few more times, and hopefully I can get a better angle of it or a better view so you can see. So now I just have 1. That was 1. I cast off 1 stitch. So now I'm going to knit a second. You only need 2 at a time. And so I'm going to insert my left needle into this first stitch, and I'm going to kind of slide. I'm holding onto a bunch of stuff because it can get a little finicky. Slide that first stitch over the second one, like pull the second one through. And then I've cast off a second one. All right, I'm gonna do it a few more times. Now I only have 1 on my needle, so I'm gonna knit a second one. And now I have 2. Insert my left needle into that first stitch through the front. And then I'm going to pull that second knit stitch. So I've pulled it through, and then I just scoop off. That's another cast off. I'm going to do a few more without talking, so hopefully you can just kind of see it. It can get a little finicky because I know your stitches are nice and tight, but you do have wooden needles, so hopefully that will be easier with making sure that nothing is slipping and sliding. I've got metal needles and they're really slippy, so hopefully your wooden needles should help. Okay, now I'm just gonna finish this really quick. I'm gonna go faster so I can show you what to do when you are at your last little cast off guy. Okay, so my last one, I'm gonna do the same thing I've been doing. I'm gonna knit this last, I'm gonna knit this last stitch. That looks crazy. And I'm gonna do the same thing I've been doing. Sorry, my yarn is a bit darker, so it's probably a little harder to tell. Pull this through. So I have cast it off. Looks so pretty. And I've got this last guy. This is when we cut our yarn. So what I like to do is pull it up. This is very reminiscent of crochet when you're tying something off. And I'm just gonna take my little tail, pull it through the loop. Pull it nice and tight. And because I am a fucking narc, I'm gonna double knot it. And then here, I am gonna show you one more thing. So I've got my darning needle. And you're like, oh, well, I'm done my scarf, but I don't want these fuck-ass, like, loose ends. So this is weaving in your ends. You can kind of do whatever the fuck you want. I like to do some, like, under the little right tail, the right legs of these little knit stitches. Like, I'll skip one, go in through. But I would refrain from just doing this once, because then when you pull it, you know, it comes out a little bit. So then I will do some diagonals through these pearls. And then I'll go back. Because when it has like an angle to it, or two different directions that you're weaving in your end, it is much less likely to come out. So I pull it, make sure everything looks fine. You can't fucking see it. And I snip. Snip a little bit above, like I wouldn't snip right up close to that. I would give it like 1/4 of a centimeter. Make sure you don't cut any of your other stitches, because that way, when it relaxes even further, it'll tuck in there. And then I will do the same to this beginning end. Now for this, sometimes I like to go through my cast on edge, just because they're right there and easier. And I go back and forth because that's two different directions. Pull it, make sure everything's looking okay. And my tail is nice and snug in there. I'll go through that, and I'll go through that, like blah, 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 ooh. Blah, 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 blah. And I'll go through that. Pull it so it's nice and hidden in there. Snip. And then this is your scarf. What is this, a scarf for ants?